That's right. Yes, Lord, it's a Monday, and today we are competing with good old Rush Limbaugh for that noon o'clock slot. I know it's 12:12, so he's going to start running his mouth in just a second if he hasn't already. It is, however, Memorial Day, so there's a good chance that Rush is barbecuing or, getting his lung cancer cured. Here's hoping. We love you, Rush. We're praying for you, brother. And, well, it's not just Memorial Day. Because Memorial Day always falls on a Monday, it is also Meme War Monday. And as a veteran of actual war and the meme wars, it is my solemn duty. In fact, I wouldn't be paying adequate respect to my brethren in the clandestine services. See, that sign's got me all messed up. I can't even spell words right coming out of my mouth. I would be remiss if I did not examine the walking, talking, vote for Trump meme that is creepy Uncle Joe Biden. Boom! Good Lord, Joe Biden said you ain't black. He went from being an avowed racist to the no shit arbiter of your ethnical composition. And wow, has the internet loved this one. You want to talk about getting lambasted. Poor, poor Joe. Now, I'm going to preface the entire rest of this conversation with this statement, and I truly and honestly believe this. Joe Biden is an old man. He's nearly 80. He is, for all practical purposes, an octogenarian who is clearly suffering from a legitimate case of dementia. I hear occasional other pundits, they talk about Joe Biden and they use language like early onset dementia. It's not early onset. The man's 80. It's dementia. Early onset would have been 20 years ago, son. He's old. He's too old to work, let alone be the president. It's not an option.
Yeah, and just for the context, I listened to more than the quote itself, and the whole
Oh yeah,
thing.
it gets
Like,
worse than the quote. The quote is not the worst of it.
no, it's not, because he's doing an interview with Charlemagne the God, and Charlemagne's actually doing his job, asking him relevant questions, and suggests that, hey, we need to get together and have a real conversation because we've got to seriously discuss black issues. And Joe gets pissed off at him. Well, look at my record. And I mean, just starts old man barking all over him, because that's a great strategy. You yell at the people that you want to vote for you. And this all
Oh yeah,
came
the look at
about.
my record. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run for. Oh wait, what's that? The NAACP is a nonpartisan organization that's never endorsed a political candidate ever. Now that statement is false, but that is the official statement of the NAACP.
Yeah. And so basically, he had a black man that wanted to have a deep dive policy wonk discussion about issues that affect black people. And Joe got pissed off, bit his head off, and then said the line about you ain't black if you don't know who you're voting for. And to be fair, I'll even give the credit that this is probably just a joke that went the wrong direction. Um, but I
No,
mean,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I think Joe Biden legitimately does not believe that black men are capable of independent thought and therefore cannot on their own freely choose to vote for other than the Democrat.
yes. Well, the Democrats have had the black vote locked up. I mean, for decades. Like I mean, we're talking like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 black people vote Democrat. Um, but yeah, of all the things, and look, Joe Biden's greatest hits. I mean, good lord, stand up, Bob. Oh, that's one is you got to see because he's telling a guy in a wheelchair to stand up, and then there's Corn Pop was a bad dude. And you're a lying dog faced pony soldier. And the kids used to rub the blonde hair on my legs.
They'd
Like,
rub it down and watch it stand up. And I like little kids sitting on my lap. Jesus, Joe!
or
We're
and
out here.
even
We're out here lying as hard as we can for you to keep them from locking you up as a pedophile. You can't just come out and say it.
I know, I know. And then even before any of this, the dementia stuff started happening. Like, do you remember? And here comes your f bomb. But when the hot mic caught him telling Obama, "This is a big fucking deal."
Yeah, and I mean, let's face it. The Obama administration was absolutely riddled with dangerous hot mics. I mean, let's not forget the Medvedev situation. But we're talking Biden. We're not talking about that other traitor. We're talking about this traitor.
Yeah, we're talking about the traitor that actually colluded with Ukraine. Because that's the other thing. Our buddies over at Polytech discussed this, how it's very obvious now that Obama and Biden and Obama's cabinet, like they unmasked Flynn on purpose. Like there's no way they didn't know what was going on.
Well,
So
not only that, but the whole Ukraine thing where Biden, there was the tape where Biden tells the story about, I told him if he didn't fire the prosecutor, he wasn't getting his $1 billion. Well, son of a bitch, he fired him. Well, now we have the earlier tape from the original discussion between Biden and that president, and it's pretty clear now that the whole $1 billion deal, he didn't just use the threat of retracting the $1 billion as leverage to ask for the prosecutor to be fired. It looks very much now like the entire deal originated as a bribe to ask the president to fire the prosecutor. And there was some shadiness going on there because similarly they have a separation of powers, so the president couldn't just straight fire the prosecutor. It's something that he can suggest, he can ask that it be done, but it's something that's not within his authority to simply do.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So just irony of ironies. It was actually Joe Biden that was doing the shady stuff in Ukraine, and yeah, where was the whistleblower then? What happened to Lieutenant Colonel Vindman?
Oh, he was busy fabricating evidence in an attempt to facilitate a coup. He didn't have time to notice actual corruption.
Man, just tagging Vindman real quick. There are some guys
I would
you
not
find out.
piss in his face if his teeth were on fire.
There are some guys that look like they were probably in the military, and then there's other guys you see them, you find out they were in the military, and you're like, I guess I can kind of see it. And then there's guys like Vindman, where you're like, no, really, you're in the army, you okay? I mean,
Yeah, I knew guys like Venman. I knew guys like Venman when I was at DLI, and they they were a dime a dozen. A lot of them join. Most of them don't make it through basic. You run into a lot of those squishy little shitbags in basic, and they get kicked out before they get through basic. And about half of them get weeded out in basic, and then of the half that get through, about 50% of those get weeded out in the advanced individual training programs. And after that, the 25% that made it from basic all the way to a first unit, they don't make it to. They either don't make it to re-enlistment, or they just don't get re-enlisted. They don't re-enlist. They just fall out.
So yeah, uh, this is your Democrat nominee. The You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. I mean, what does that even mean? I mean, it's a fantastic insult, but how does that combination of words mean something, anything? I mean, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean,
that's that's amazing.
what what did you think was going to happen, Joe?
Wait.
What did you think was going to happen?
Because folks, it's the thing.
You know the thing.
Do you mean God and where he's referenced in the Constitution, Joe? Is that what you mean? Or it was the Declaration of Independence?
Meh.
Joe doesn't know.
Joe don't know.
Oh, yeah. Never has a VP pick counted for more than this one does now.
Oh, you mean Stacey Abrams, who, let's be very, very clear, Nancy Pelosi has broken the threshold on fat shaming. Welcome to the warm light of day, round ass.
Oh, yeah. The woman who lost the race for governor by about that much. Because Brian Kemp ran a voter suppression campaign somehow, some way.
No, there was clear racism in the race. It was spelled out very, very neatly in Stacey Abrams' lawsuit. By expecting voters to spell their names correctly, you are unreasonably burdening Black Americans because, according to Stacey Abrams and her lawsuit, black people, black voters, cannot reliably spell their names or recall their home addresses or copy their social security number off of an identification card, or, for that matter, secure an identification card. Because
Yeah.
voter ID is racist because black people don't know where the DMV is and they don't know how to use the internet.
Close the door. Sorry, I have children being children.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always one that's blown my mind. Every time I hear voter ID is racist, I'm like, no, I think the average black person is capable of going to the DMV and plopping down a few bucks and getting an ID. I don't actually think it's that hard.
You know what's funny? The states that have voter ID also have a free state ID available to you through the DMV. States like California, where by and large they're against the idea of voter ID, have sanctuary cities full of criminal aliens, and they charge you. I think California's is the highest. It's like $57 for just the state ID. That's not a driver's license. It's just a state issued photo ID. And it just begs the question: are they teetotalers? Do none of them smoke? Do none of them enjoy pornography? Or perhaps, I don't know, rent anything ever? Or, just throwing this one out there, have jobs at all? Or maybe it is that none of them collect any government welfare benefits at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but I mean, this kind of circles back around. The Democrats do feel entitled to the black vote, and and the minority vote in particular. Um, they do this on purpose. And
And they do it at their great peril. Support for President Donald Trump among African American voters nearly doubled from August 2017 to August 2018. The percentage of black voters who approve of the job Mr. Trump is doing as president was 15% in the Rasmussen poll. And right now, it's being reported as closer to the mid to high 20%. So, with Donald Trump having secured nearly 30% of black approval, the Democrats taking the vote of the black man for granted. It may not be a thing of the past as reflected by their policy positions and uh, political positioning, but as a matter of reality, as a matter of fact, it is very much a thing of the past. Black people aren't stupid. They're people who, I don't know, are able to read books and watch news and have thoughts. Because, and this is going to be hard for some of the Democrats in the audience to hear, they're people. Believe it or not, they're people. Affirmative action, for example. You're a Democrat, pro-affirmative action. What you are saying is that a black man cannot do what a white man can do unless the government forces at gunpoint a white man to allow the black man to do it. That he is incapable of achieving anything without the interference of funding and force by the federal government. That's what you believe. If you support affirmative action, if you're a Democrat, you are necessarily, by your policy positions, a white supremacist. And
just
you might kind of look like this.
Well, there's the other side of this, though. You've got the whole Candace Owens Brexit thing.
Brexit's a great idea. It's a fantastic movement. God, I hate that. I'm not a fan of Pigeon. I'm just not.
You're not a fan of Pigeon?
No.
Like what?
That's when you blend two languages and come up with a second one. It's like, for example, Tagalog is a pidgin of several Asian languages and Spanish and French.
Yeah, but well, no, this is Brexit.
I know what
black.
it is.
Like
I understand it. It's
and Brexit in and of itself was actually a combining of two words.
Yes.
So, but they were all English. Anyhow, the point is
I didn't think Brangelina Jolie. I didn't think Brangelina was cute either.
Benifer. Anyhow, Brexit, Candace Owens, we're staying on track. How long do you think before the social consciousness is such that people like Candace Owens won't be seen as basically traitors? Like, it's not just that you're supposed to vote for the Democrat and support the Democrat policies and all of that. You're not even allowed to question it. That's part of why Joe Biden got so flustered and said the absolute stupid thing that he said, because he had a black man asking reasonable questions of a Democrat, and he couldn't process it. It was just...
Well, I mean, his first mistake was being asked reasonable questions. That's not something that a Democrat is prepared for, let alone one with advanced dementia.
It's a lion, dog faced pony soldier.
He is that, except for the whole soldier thing.
But how long do you think before we reach a point where socially...
I don't know. I don't know. A major problem with the black community is that the so-called black leaders, your Al Sharptons, your those guys, they are deeply financially invested in the plantation of the Democrat vote. Um, when you look at somebody like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, when you look at people like that, what you should see is a black slave trader. They are not different than a pre-Civil War free black man selling black slaves.
Well, that's how they have to maintain their base. Because if this is one of the biggest differences between the Republicans and the Democrats. Well, Republicans are for the rich and Democrats are for the poor. Which means in order for the Republicans to be successful, there needs to be more rich people. So in order for the Democrats to be successful, there needs to be more poor people.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not enough to keep you poor. It's not enough to keep the poor poor. In order for the Democrats to be successful, they need to increase poverty.
And then they can fix it. And increase it, fix it, and increase it, and fix it, and increase it, and fix it.
The thing that scared the Democrats the most about Donald Trump right up until the pandemic occurred, and ongoing through it. I mean, we've lost some huge steps on economic gains. That's true, but the thing that scared the Democrats the most about Donald Trump, especially going into a re-election campaign as an incumbent with a strong economy, was he threatened to solve all the problems that they've been running their campaigns on for the last 50 years.
Yes. Not only that, and then speaking of the pandemic, black people and black churches, like, it's its own subculture thing. Like, you better not go.
You try to tell a black man he can't go to church, a black man who goes to church, that he can't go to church, and buddy, you are barking up the wrong tree that Sunday afternoon.
And so, who is it that's saying churches should be allowed to reopen? It's Donald Trump. And who is it that's saying they need to remain closed? And I saw a meme. I should have sent it to you actually, but I saw a meme that said people are allowed to go back to church, and then underneath it was a picture of Darwin saying, "I'm Charles Darwin, and I approve of this message." And it's like, okay, I see. So people with faith are stupid and deserve to die. All right, gotcha. But anyhow, that's all I got. It's Memorial Day. It was nice to kind of do a looser, somewhat more informal holiday special.
Well, that's all I've got too. So I'm about to hop off and go eat some tacos and clean the garage and then take a nap before I get paid to play video games all night. My world is a bizarre whirlwind of things that shouldn't happen to people.
I still want a taco. You just made me hungry. Damn it.
Well, good luck, sunshine. Peace and love, buddy. Brothers. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right, man. Enjoy that.
Altogether, a good show.